This is UBC back in 1970 when 23,000 students traveled to and from campus in private vehicles. And we could park in over 15,000 parking spaces at the time. Some of them, of course, were way out there in the hinterlands. And if you recall, they were kind of like Lot A, B, C, and D. Bill Triplick still has this sticker. There you go, parking lot C, 1965 to 66. Here we are today. This is the bird's eye view of the 400-hectare campus. Some universities blend in within a city. UBC is physically separated by a wilderness park and an 18-hole golf course. This is the Google Earth view of the campus. Don't ask me why McDonald's is prominently displayed. Must be a Google ad thing or something. So today, approximately 72,000 people commute daily to the campus. 56,000 are students, 12,000 are staff, and 4,200 are faculty. There are 4 roads: Chancellor Boulevard, University Boulevard, 16th Avenue, and Marine Drive. And if you recall, when we were on campus here, Marine Drive was a nightmare as being constructed, and I think 16th Avenue was a dirt road at that time. The campus's goal for transportation is to reduce vehicle trips by encouraging more sustainable modes of transportation, such as transit, biking, walking, and carpooling. There's even a bike sharing program to help get around campus. In 2019, 54% of all trips were made by transit. If you're riding a bus traveling down University Boulevard, this is what greets you at the Westbrook Mall intersection. Buses continue down the boulevard, loop around, and then head back to Vancouver. This is the view looking east on University Boulevard. North of the bus loop is the Robert H. Lee Alumni Center. This was built in 2015. On the main floor is a very cool Find Yourself alumni wall. It's a large touch screen to find every UBC graduate here. Be sure to take a photo of yourself next to your name as proof that you really did graduate. Directly behind the Alumni Center is the AMS Student Nest. I think we all remember the old Student Union building, SUB as we called it, which was constructed in 1968. Several years later, a referendum was passed to build a new AMS building here. On June 1st, 2015, the Nest opened its doors. You're probably wondering, what the heck is that brown cube that's kind of like suspended in air there? Well, it's a lounge area for those willing to make the trek to the top. Food, of course, is the main attraction with several different types of outlets. Not surprising, a lot of them are Asian cuisine. Happy to say, the pit is still alive and well. You can walk down a long ramp or take an elevator to the basement. Let's head down south on Main Mall to the cluster buildings that make up the engineering complex. The first building we see is the Fred Kaiser building, which was built in 2005. It's headquarters for the Applied Science Dean and MINT staff. Here's a wide-angle view of the building, and of course, our iconic Karen. And some of you who will be joining us in the evening, you'll hear Lynn Spraggs talk about the history of the Karen as well. And this location, as we kind of knew it, wasn't the first location. It happens to be the current final location. Fred Kaiser is also home for electrical and computer engineering. This happens to be a photo that I took back in 2002 of Professor Michael Davies in one of the main classrooms. Looks a lot different than what we had back in the 70s. Kaiser is connected to the old Hector McLeod building and home for electricals beginning in 1964. I don't know how some of you electricals here, but we survived that dreadful brown and yellow color scheme. This is how most of us remember the Hector McLeod building. This is what it looks like today. This building is undergoing seismic and green energy upgrades. Anticipated completion date is summer 2022. The Wayne and William White building is the Engineering Design Center. The 20,000 square foot center features 2 hands-on work rooms for student teams to develop and assemble extracurricular projects for competitions. It has a studio for design and instruction, project-based learning, and a project room for students across the engineering disciplines. Document preparation and digital design are completed in the computer and reading room. Kind of sure beats working out of an engineering student's family garage or scrounging around to build a Wally wagon. And across the East Mall is the Chemical and Biological Engineering building. The old chemical building that was there when we were on campus was demolished and replaced by this one in 2006. Heading north on East Mall is the Civil and Mechanical Engineering building. This building was opened in 1976. There's civil engineering rooms as well as mechanical engineering rooms. If you take a tour of the building, you can spot some really interesting exhibits in the building. One display is a tribute to Walter Gage. I don't know how many of you knew that Walter Gage received a certification from the Association of Professional Engineers. And some of you may have attended his actual tribute downtown, which happened in May 1975. This book happens to be a photo album of the various things that engineers kind of did during that particular session, including the bun tossing and other good things. Next door is a Civil and Mechanical Engineering Laboratory, affectionately known as the Rusty Hut. Erected in 1971, apparently the rust-colored exterior wasn't by design, but a lack of funds to paint the building. Since 2012, Home for Geological Engineering is a really, really impressive earth sciences building. Constructed to LEED gold standards, ESB is the largest panelized wood building and the largest application of cross-laminated timber in North America. It features a free-floating cantilevered solid timber staircase, one of the first of its kind in the world. Complementing the Earth Sciences building on Main Mall is the glass-shrouded Beatty Diversity Museum. It's easy to spot because you can see the skeleton of a blue whale. If you do visit campus, particularly with kids and grandkids, this is a must-see museum. When I visited with my grandkids, we easily spent 2 hours here just roaming through the different hallways, looking at the different exhibits, lots of things that the kids can put their hands on and they can fool around with. The Frank Ford building was a welcome new addition to the Mets in 1968. Metallurgical engineering has been renamed as materials engineering in 2004. The intent is to replace the building and rework the surrounding area under a new capital project called Applied One. Talking to some of the US, look forward to finally when this building is actually replaced. So here it is, 1968 to start. Now we're talking today, we're looking forward to the end of it. In the middle of the engineering complex is the Engineering Student Center. This is where the old cheese factory was located. The $5 billion, 10,000 square foot center has 2 levels. Back in the 70s, I think we ran red sales out of a locker. Well, today there's a proper storefront to sell red jackets, sweaters, hoodies, t-shirts, crests, and accessories. Badges are a really big thing and proudly sewn onto your jackets and sweaters. Upstairs are where the EOS executive offices are located. Yes, they do actually have offices. And also a kitchen area for those late night event planning meetings. The building takes center stage during Engineering Week in February. Once a year, alumni are invited to attend Old Red, New Red. It's an opportunity to learn what's new on campus and also hear what's old, especially the details on infamous stunts. And this was a stunt that was discussed during the UBC 100th anniversary. 2016 also happened to be the class of 71 45th year reunion. Our contribution to EOS history, I had fun working with students to create wall posters capturing beer drinking through each decade. And you may ask, well, where did these pictures came from? Well, from the slipsticks. The slipsticks that were gifted to the Dean of Applied Sciences every year. During Old Red, New Red, ball models are on display on the 2nd level. As an alumnus, you get to vote for your favorite ball model. If you do visit the campus one day, be sure to check out Westbrook Village. It's highlighted in red on the map, and you just keep on heading directly south down towards the Triumph building, and then you pass this new development here. The main entrance is via the 16th Avenue and Westbrook Road roundabout. Several restaurants to choose from there, and lots of open space and free parking. So I hope you enjoyed this virtual tour of UBC with a focus on the engineering complex. This slideshow will be published on YouTube and made public. In closing, I'd like to thank the class of 70 for giving me a purpose for putting this presentation together. And also want to give a shout out to the engineering class of 1958 and Joe Stout for inspiring us to replicate what they did on their 60th year reunion.